Yo YouTube, how you guys doing? Welcome back to another gameplay review video. If you guys have not seen this series is a series I have been doing where people can submit their gameplays to my Discord, and then I basically go through it and I talk about the things that they do right and the things that they do wrong, and I tell them like where they can improve and also just like what they're doing right, you know, and kind of give them some direction from my experience. Anyway, so today's video is a rank 1 nurse game. I mean, again, it's all kind of spoiled in the title. Rank 1 0K. It's a kind of short video, so that's interesting. I'm really curious to know how I'm going to end up dragging this one out to be like 45 minutes, because I do that with every single video. Let's take a look at okay, I'm gonna take a look at the Discord. This message was left with the video. It says rank 1 before this game, nurse main, 4K'd every match tonight, and then this one comes along. I don't know exactly where I went wrong besides getting tilted. Call me an idiot, tell me to uninstall DBD. It's not worse than getting bagged by Nia at the exit gate. So I guess that's a spoiler alert. I think he's gonna get teabagged at the end. Oh man, that's a bummer. Okay, so we're just gonna hop right into this and we're just gonna talk about it. We're just gonna get immediately started. Okay, so right off the get-go, you are running a strong perk build, my friend. I mean, obviously, I don't think I need to say this. The patch has not come in yet, so Ruin Undying is still crazy strong right now. You're also running Nurse's Calling, which is interesting, and then Barbecue and Chili as well. Nurse's Calling is it feels a little bit out of place here, to be honest. But I mean, it's not bad. Like, just in general on Nurse, it's good. I feel like I would run Nurses if I was running Sloppy as well. Like, I would run Nurses in place of, like, I don't know. Like, I would run it if I had Sloppy with it. Without Sloppy, it's still good. Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad perk, but I feel like there's something else you could have ran here. Something like Infectious Fright, maybe. Or something to like kind of help you snowball to get more value out of like the Ruin Undying. You know what I mean? But it's definitely not a bad perk. Like, it's generally an overall good build. So like really no complaints there. Your add-ons are Wooden Horse and I think that's Fragile Wheeze. Hold on, let me go take a look. Yes, that is Fragile Wheeze. I gotta make sure about this kind of stuff because I get it wrong one time, and you know, you guys will never let me hear the end of it. So Fragile Wheeze is the green add-on. It reduces your blink recharge time, so your blinks just come back faster. And the Wooden Horse, I believe, is the one that makes it so your cooldown is better, right? After you miss an attack. Yes, Wooden Horse makes it so that after you miss an attack post blink, like normally if you swing after a blink and you miss, it would add an entire second to your fatigue, which is a lot. That's like a lot of time added to your fatigue. With Wooden Horse, I think Wooden Horse removes it entirely. It either removes it entirely or it removes the majority of it. Essentially, you get no extra fatigue from missing a swing after a blink. So Wooden Horse is actually like one of those like sleeper add-ons on Nurse. It's very, very strong, and a lot of people don't really realize it. But anyway, pretty good add-ons. Honestly, pretty solid add-ons. Like they're both very like forgiving for mistakes, which is pretty good because I think like Nurse is a very punishing for mistakes kind of a killer. So let's just see kind of what happens with this game. You're on Dead Dog Saloon. Turn the volume up a little bit. Dead Dog Saloon it's kind of interesting that this game's gonna go badly because Dead Dog Saloon is usually one of the best maps for Ruin Undying because it has such good totem spawns. All right, I mean, really good start. You find this Claudette and then you hit her. Okay, I mean, you got her dead hard. Not too shabby, going okay so far. Those first two blinks were a little bit short, but it's fine. And then you didn't have to blink there. I mean, you played that perfectly. Well done. I bet I can already tell what's gonna happen because you seem like you're pretty calm and in control. Like, you seem like you got it together right now. I feel like what's gonna happen is you're gonna chase a survivor who's gonna be really good, and then you're gonna fuck up a bunch, and then you're gonna get tilted. Like, you already said in the message that you got tilted, and I know how that shit can be, man. When you start to go full tilt as Nurse, that shit is frustrating. Like, that right there is like a little frustrating because like your first blink didn't go up even though you were trying to, and then your second blink went up after the guy dropped. So that can definitely be frustrating. I mean, great blinks. I have no feedback to give so far. You're doing good. Like, it's very clear that you know what you're doing. You're doing a good job. Yeah, I mean, I have no commentary. I have no feedback. There's no feedback that I can give right now other than clapping my hands and saying, hey, well done, dude. Seems like you know what you're doing as Nurse. Well done. These blinks were pretty good. You had good positioning. You didn't like overly go for reactions as opposed to, predictions as opposed to reactions. Oh, there goes your Undying. Okay, yeah. I feel like every time I see a gameplay review and you have Ruin Undying, they almost always break Undying and then Ruin shortly after. I'm guessing Ruin's probably gonna pop soon, I would guess. Because I feel like that happens every time. It's like the only way you lose with Ruin Undying. Ooh, just barely short. That was kind of a weird little thing she did where like she kind of ran back to you and then turned back around. What what happened there? You like looked down as if like you got stuck on something. Like that was actually pretty solid blinks. Like you went for a prediction, it didn't work, and then right here you could have swung like immediately. It like took you a second to swing, and then when you did swing, you like got stuck on whatever the fuck that was. That's just really unfortunate. That was again like that was good blinks. It was just kind of unlucky. So are you gonna give up on this Nia? You kind of took a weird angle there. I guess you thought she was gonna... See, but now you're trapped inside. She dropped down. Or he's gonna one blink down. You're kind of taking weird angles on that Nia. Like, you're trying to cut her off, but then you end up just losing line of sight on her and having to kind of guess. So you kind of just, like, wasted that chase. Should get a hit here, though. There you go. Good hit on this Claudette. Let's see how you follow this up. Yeah, the chase on the Nia was a little bit... Wait, where are you going? Oh, I didn't hear that. I didn't hear or see that. I guess you heard or saw her there, and I didn't. I would have waited for 2 blinks there as opposed to rushing it. But hey, it's fine. Get a good hit on her. I mean, again, like you're getting good pressure. They did get both your ruin and your undying, which is really unfortunate. I mean, like I feel like it's kind of like I feel like I don't even need to really point out these mistakes. Like it's very obvious that I think it's obvious that you know what you did wrong here, right? Like this first hit was good, and then the second hit, like your first blink was good positioning, right? Like this was a good position to then follow up with your second blink, but you just kind of go for like a crazy, like you go for a really ambitious swing. I kind of feel like it goes without saying because like obviously that's what went wrong here, but I mean, just for the sake of pointing it out, I do think she dead-hearted there. It was kind of hard to tell, but it kind of looked like she dead-hearted. Now at this point, I'm just like, why are you not actually committing to any of these people? Because now you got a bunch of people injured, so I guess you're going to be looking around for nurses calling, but you didn't actually commit to anybody. So like, yeah, you got hits on everybody, but you don't actually have mat pressure right now. Like the only quote unquote mat pressure you have is if they feel pressured to heal, and they might just not. They might just do gens, and that kind of seems like what they're doing. You like we're hesitating to see if that Nia would come back out, but you're just not really getting anything done right now, you know? Oh my god, that was a good blink. I don't know like how you predicted. I don't know if there was some kind of a skill there that I just didn't see because I didn't hear or see her or anything, but that was a perfect blink from out of nowhere. Okay. Oh no, you could have had her, man. I mean, again, this is one where like this is actually huge right here because like if they don't heal, if you injure them all and they don't heal and they instead do gens like this, the way that you counter this is by snowballing mat pressure. Like it's by hooking someone. I feel like I'm saying this in every gameplay review and you guys are probably sick of me saying it, but that's how you counter these like gen rushy style teams is by compounding mat pressure. So the fact that you have this guy hooked, if you down this guy and then leave him slugged and then just like kind of patrol around the bodies, they're fucked. Like they have to save them, but they're also injured, so they can't really make efficient saves. So that's really how you win this game. Like you blink right here. And like, I think you already start charging a blink, which is fine. And you even like look down, but you look down and like a little bit to the side. So you end up like, instead of going straight down, you blink like way off to the side here, which is really unfortunate because you could have had it down there really easily. Instead you don't. And they get the unhook, which is kind of unfortunate. I would slug her. I would slug her and go back to that hook. You kind of need to start compounding mat pressure. This isn't a horrible play either to hook her, but they just unhooked like right beside you. I would have slugged her. I definitely would have slugged her. Oh my god. The movement is so like spazzy. Like I literally can't even tell what's going on. I guess my best piece of advice, like you're kind of like whipping your camera all around. And like I get sometimes when you're playing nurse, it's kind of intense, but like I feel like sometimes that you need to like sometimes you need to take like a split second and just like get your bearings, you know, and like see where the survivor is. Because I feel like that's kind of what happened here. Like you didn't really give yourself a second to like, you didn't give yourself like a second to like figure out what was going on. You're just like, blah, 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 blah. You know? Like literally that's how, I feel like I can express your play style by just saying like, here, it's literally like, okay, there's a person. There you go. Like that's essentially your play style summed up into words right there. You just kind of like throw yourself at them spazzingly and hope that you get a hit, right? And like a lot of times that works. Don't get me wrong, that does work a lot of the times, but like it also gets you fucked over a lot of the times. So what the advice I would give here is after the first blink, sorry, this is the last time. After the first blink right here, I would just take a second. I would take a second. She's in a really bad spot. I mean, she's literally right fucking there. I would take a second. I wouldn't rush this blink. You could even charge it for a bit because you could always like look down when you blink. So I would just wait here for a second, see what she does, give her like a second to like choose a direction, and then blink and hit. Like focus on where she is, focus your aim, like don't like spaz out, don't move your camera around, focus your camera on her, see where she's going, and then do the follow-up blink. Like this first blink positioning is really good. You put your first blink right beside her, and that makes it so your second blink could be easy follow-up, but you kind of just go for like a really quick follow-up, and like your camera is just, I don't know, man, you're whipping that bitch around. I don't know, like it just kind of felt like you spazzed a little bit, you know? And I'm not sure if that comes from the tilt, like maybe you're spazzing your camera a little bit because of tilt, but I don't know. That was also really unfortunate that your second blink didn't go over the thing, and then you also couldn't smack over it. You see them up top. I'm not sure if you were trying to blink like to the gen, like behind it. I don't even know if you meant to blink down. That might have been an accident. They're already down. You hear them crying. Good down, good down, good down. It's kind of under a pallet, but you're going to go for it anyway. It's a little bit ballsy because you know someone was just right behind you, but it's okay. You got it anyway. So you're going to hook her. Yeah, again, I feel like you really needed to slug whenever everybody was injured. And now like it still feels like you get in these positions where you like don't commit to people that I think you could, you know? Like it feels like you're like not committing to chases and instead trying to like spread damage out and like pressure like you're trying to like go defend gens as opposed to like getting downs, when getting downs is really what you need to be doing. We're gonna go from here. You're trying to find this guy. You see some blood. You're a little bit lost. So am I. I don't know. He might be in a locker. He definitely could be in one of the lockers. I'm surprised you didn't check those lockers. It is definitely possible that he quick and quiet into one of those lockers. I would have checked those lockers if I were you. I'm gonna be curious to see if anyone has quick and quiet in the post game screen. Man, what is going on with your camera movement? Like your camera movement's like, honestly, it's like giving me a headache almost. Like what happens here? You like blink and you're in a good position here. Like you blink really close to her. Again, it's the same thing. After this first blink, you got to position this first blink in a position where you can follow up, right? And you did a good job of that. You blinked like right here. Here, let me try to like do that less you know, jumpy. So like you blink the first time, and I know this is kind of dark and pixely and kind of hard to see, but like this is the like that's the survivor, that's the Nia, right? Like you blink right here, and then that puts you in a position, right? Like she's right here. This puts you in a position to follow up. All you really have to do is just take a second, like don't spaz your camera out. Just take a second and like. Okay, this is another reason why I tell people to run Shadowborn. I feel like the lack of Shadowborn might be fucking whoever too. Because, like, this is another reason why Shadowborn is so good. Because, like, during the blink, like, during the animation of you blinking, like, here, let me back it up some more. Hold on. Like, during this animation of you blinking, you want to, like, try to keep an eye on her, right? The whole time that you're blinking. Shadowborn makes this a lot easier because your FOV is bigger. It's not quite as, like, dark and doesn't get, like, you don't get, like, this screen that you get now, right? It's a lot, like, easier to do. And you do kind of do it, right? Like you are looking at her basically the whole time. But yeah, I mean, when you come out of the blink, you basically just have to keep an eye on her and see where she is. And then just do like a really quick follow-up. And you but like, you like whip your camera way far to the right. And I really don't get like why. Like you move your camera and then you're like way to the left. It's like you're trying to centralize on her and you just like can't. It's very strange to me. Like it feels like you're kind of just whipping your camera around. Like all you gotta do is just like sit there for a second and like just lock your aim on her. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of hard for me to give advice because it's kind of like an aim thing. It's kind of like hitting your shots in like a shooting game. Like you just have to lock your aim on them. Like you just have to look at them. Like when you come out and just like see what they do and then just follow it up with like your second blink. You know, you did end up getting the down though, which wasn't bad. But again, at this point, I feel like you've lost so much map pressure over so much time. She's just gonna dive bomb that hook with adrenaline. Yeah, you can already tell. Like she didn't give a fuck. Which means like these guys are clearly together too, because she very, very much knew that she was about to get adrenaline. I don't understand why she jumped into that locker. I thought that was the guy. Oh, wait, was she hooked recently? Dude, I've been rewinding so much that I didn't even realize that she was hooked recently. Well, apparently she also had decisive strikes. So that sucks. There's an Ash there. Okay. Okay. You got fucking robbed, dude. What was that? What was that highway robbery? We gotta watch it again, dude. We gotta watch this again in slow motion. Here, let's go. Ready? All right. You blink, frame by frame. We're gonna frame by frame it. You turn, you're like, hi, Ash. Hello? Thud. You literally bounced your saw blade off of, like, look, you're literally in, like, your knife is through his head. You're like in his fucking spinal cord right now, dude. You're like in his spinal cord with your knife. What the fuck? What is that? You got robbed, dude. Yeah, as if that doesn't help your tilt at all. Like, I'm sure you were already tilted. I'm sure that didn't help you at all right there. Holy, that's got to be frustrating. I'm going to guess that she might have got back in a locker. No, yeah, so you thought the same thing. Because she seemed to like walkers, but I guess she instead, like, just hid? I don't really know. I couldn't really tell what happened there. I felt like you didn't look around enough for me to really see, like, where the rest of the scratch marks were. And now the gates are open, and yeah, you're just donezo at this point. So, like, where did this go wrong? Like, where did this go wrong? And here's the Nia. Is this the Nia backing at the exit gate that we were talking about? Kind of. I mean, she kind of she didn't really teabag you. I've seen worse teabagging, right? Unless there was like a different survivor that teabags you. You go and you kick the hatch. I mean, yeah, and then this guy leaves as well. I mean, it gives you hits on the way out, so that's cool. He at least gives you one hit. Okay, so where did this go wrong? Well, before we talk about that, let's take a look at the builds first. Are we not going to see the builds? We do not get to see the build. It ends right before the builds come through. We did not quite get to see the builds, which is unfortunate. I was really curious if one of them had quick and quiet. I was very, very curious about it. But yeah, this is kind of a bummer. Let's find out where this went wrong. So this one's kind of a weird one because I don't think you made any like huge mistakes. I think these survivors just played like really efficiently. Like, okay, I should say I don't think you made any huge like decision mistakes, right? Like, I feel like that's the main thing I can point out on these gameplay reviews. Like when it comes to like Nurse, a lot of the time, like killers like Nurse and Huntress, it's really hard for me to pinpoint like obviously you fucked up a lot of blink combos, you know, and you know what you did wrong. So it's really hard for me to just to be like, yeah, just don't miss your blinks, forehead. Like obviously you know not to miss your blinks. The same way that like if a Huntress like blatantly misses a hatchet, I can't be like, yeah, well obviously you should have just hit him. Like it's clear like what you did wrong. So really I'm trying to find where the like decision making mistakes went wrong. And I can tell you that like this whole game was looking great up until this point. Like this is a minute 30 in, you had just hooked 2 survivors, you found someone downed him, you found someone else downed him, right? Or did you only hook 1? No, you hooked 2 because you have 2 stacks of barbecue. Like that's why you have somebody hooked and someone injured. You downed somebody, you hooked them, you found someone else, you downed them and hooked them, and then you saw this Nia on this gen. And this is where it all started to go wrong. First off, they got your Ruin Undying really early, and let me just go ahead and say that's really unlucky. Like had your Ruin Undying not gotten found super early on a map like fucking Dead Dog where totems are hidden like crazy, like that is so unlucky. Because that's one of the main benefits of playing this map as killer, even though it's a fucking hellhole for following scratch marks because of all the grass, is at least your totems are hidden. You know what I mean? Like if you're running a build like this, usually it lasts like the whole game, usually, because finding totems on this map's a nightmare. But these guys somehow managed to find both totems really quick. And I'm also wondering if they had something for that too. Like I'm wondering if they have like Detective's Hunch or like a map or like a small game or something. Like I really wish I could have seen their perks because I think you might have just got really unlucky with that as well, because that turned like you kind of turned into a 2-perk killer very quickly, like very quickly into this game, like literally a minute into this game, and you start losing your perks and you become like a 2-perk killer, which is also a big factor in this. Like keep that in mind. That's also a huge factor. So first off, I just want to say that real quick, that if you run perks like this, like if you run hex perks, even with Undying being the way it is, like Undying makes hex perks a little bit less risky, but it's still risky. And I would say that like it's less risky, but if you get punished, you're punished even more, because in a situation where they find Undying and then Ruin right away, you're not down just Ruin, you're down 2 perks. Like that's 2 perk slots that you can just erase. Like they're just gone. Like you're literally 2-perk Andy out here. Like if you were just running Ruin and they destroyed it, then at least you'd have like, I don't know, something here. I don't know what, Sloppy Butcher, Nurse's Calling, who knows? Like whatever the fuck, or sorry, you already have Nurses. Like Sloppy, you know, Corrupt Intervention, like whatever the fuck else you would want to run. But the fact that you're running 2 hex perks and they break them both right away, like that's just really unlucky. And that's kind of the risk you take with running these kind of perks. And it just so happened that these guys were also like a super efficient team of like slamming fucking gens. So Yeah, like that's kind of a big risk, which is why like when I play nurse, you don't see me running stuff like this very often because I like the more consistent builds. Like I like to run things where like I like having perks that I know I'm always gonna have. You know, like I don't ever like ending up with only 2 perks. Like that's just such a bad feeling. So first off, I just wanted to say that like that's horribly unlucky. But like this chase is kind of where it all went wrong. Like this, like that wasn't so bad. You could have used your follow-up blink. Like I feel like you definitely seemed like you were close enough to get a hit there, but it's not a bad thing just to like use your second blink just to be 100% sure. Like you have 2 blinks for a reason, you know what I mean? There's really no need to get hits on the first blink if you don't need to. You went for a prediction blink right there, which wasn't bad, and then this thing fucked you over, which is really unfortunate. And then right here, like I don't know why you don't follow her inside here. This is this is where I started to get confused. This was like the first point in the review where I was like, wait, what? Because you could have followed her in, and like she really didn't have too many places to go. There's what, like, there's like a window if she keeps going straight. If she like loops around, she can go upstairs, and then when she's upstairs, there's either a window or like around the other way. But either way, you can literally blink upstairs. So if you go in and she went upstairs, you can blink upstairs. Like you can skip the whole staircase and just blink up. If she goes to the window, you can just follow her. Like I don't really know why you didn't follow her here. I guess you were trying to predict that she was just gonna go straight like through, which is why you went around to like maybe try to cut her off. Like I think that you thought she was going to come out this way, but she didn't. She ended up going up like what she ended up doing is she came through and went up the stairs and then out this window. Whereas like if you would have followed in after her, like you could have got to like right here, looked up and seen if you and like seen if she went up, and then if she did, you could have blinked right here and then use your follow-up blink to either go to the other side of the window, or like you could have used your follow-up blink to basically hit her no matter where she went. You know what I mean? Like you could have easily hit her if you just stayed on her, but instead you go this weird like round the outside route, and then you like break LOS of her, so you don't really know where she's going anymore. And then she goes some weird direction, and then you're just like, oh well, what now? And then you try to do like a prediction blink where you just like predict where she is, and like you do kind of keep up with her, but like you're in such a bad spot because you don't really have any vision. You have no way of knowing. You're just trying to predict and like keep up with her, and then she gets away, and then you're just like shit. And now you're on this Claudette. So like that was like I think we started at 130, right? And now we're at 218. Like that was a lot of wasted time. Like that's like a whole gen and a half there of wasted time, if not more, of like 3 survivors doing gens. So like that was kind of a mistake, and I want to say that this is also kind of a mistake here too. Like why not commit to that Claudette? Like, okay, first off, I don't even know how you knew this Neo was on this gen. I don't know if you can hear it, and maybe I just can't hear it because my volume's not loud. But even with this guy being on the gen, I don't think it's that crazy to just commit to the Claudette. Like, this guy's full health. And, like, yeah, like, this isn't a horrible play. I'll admit, it's definitely not a horrible play. But I think committing to that Claudette and just getting it down is also not bad, you know? Like, you kind of need downs. Even here, though, you do get all 4 people injured. This is where you fuck up a blink, which sucks really hard because you could have easily followed up that blink and got it down. She had dead hard. You give up on her, too. Again, like, even there, like, why'd you give up on that chase? It feels like you have this, like, bad habit of, like, giving up on chases. I guess it's because you're running Nurse's Calling, right? I think it's because of Nurse's Calling. I think you're trying to catch people out healing, but that's just like it's kind of like an inconsistent strategy because, again, some people just aren't going to heal. And, you know, especially really efficient survivors like this. Like, I would argue that the survivors that are the most troublesome are the survivors that don't heal and the ones that just slam gens. So it feels like the playstyle that you're going with here with, like, Nurse's Calling and, like, giving up chases to try to catch people off healing probably only works on the survivors that aren't really too much of a problem to begin with, and then survivors that are actually like mega efficient, which is the ones where like you really need your perks to be helping you and your playstyle to be helping you. It feels like it's not going to do much against. Like, these guys don't really heal very much, you know? Like you gave up that chase to come kick this gen, and now what? Like, you're just kind of wandering around, like you're not doing anything. Again, 130 is whenever I started talking about this game going downhill. It's been a minute and a half. It's been a minute and a half, and you have not committed to a chase. Like that's a minute and a half of, like, just to explain this a little bit more. I'll keep it going, and like we'll wait till you actually get pressure. Like, there's just so much gen progress happening this whole time, you know? And then you come over here, and I think this is where you finally, oh yeah, you get this crazy blink. That was a crazy blink. But anyway, you finally get it down at 320. That's like 2 minutes though. That's almost 2 whole minutes. So just to explain, I hear people talking about this all the time, where I hear people talking about, like, gen pressure and who has, like, the best gen control, and, like, you know, what killers are the best at pressuring gens and, like, controlling gens, and I think people don't really understand what map pressure is, you know? And again, if you watch my reviews before, I'm going to sound like a broken record because I feel like I say this in almost every review, but it needs to be said. I'm sorry. Getting map pressure is not necessarily like going from gen to gen to gen, because you're never going to be able to keep up with survivors. There's 4 of them and 1 of you. Like, if you're not actually downing survivors, then all you're doing is pressuring 1 survivor at a time, which is what you were doing. Like, you finally get it down here at 320, but from 130 the whole way to 320, like from here the whole way to where we just were, you just pressure survivors individually 1 at a time. Like, you chase this Nia, right? And you chase her the whole way up until like right here. And then she kind of like actually completely gets away. And then you find this Claudette, which is like, okay, that's fine. Like, you kind of played badly on that Nia, but it happens. You find this Claudette and you hit her and you're like, awesome. And now she's pressured, right? But then you don't even follow up. You're like, okay, well, now I'm gonna leave her alone. And then you go and now you're pressuring her, but now the Claudette's not pressured. And the whole time the other 2 survivors aren't pressured. Like the other 2 survivors are literally just free to do gens this whole time. So like there's no pressure on them. Even that Claudette that you just hit, now has no pressure as well. And like there's just no pressure. Like, you're pressuring 1 survivor at a time, and that's it. All the other survivors are totally free to do gens this whole time, and they do. They obviously do gens because you lose a ton of them, and that's just kind of like. I feel like if you're actually playing against efficient survivors, like survivors who are going to play well and efficiently, you really can't allow this. You can't really like allow yourself to go like 2 whole minutes straight without getting a single down. Or else you're just gonna lose. Like, you're just gonna lose unless you have like a crazy 3-gen setup in the end, or like, I don't know, end up making like a crazy 4-man slug play happen. Like, you still could have made this happen with a 4-man slug play. Like, if anything, I could maybe see this setting up for a 4-man slug, right? Like, at this point, it's like, okay, I'm not gonna get it down. I'm gonna injure everybody instead. The only way that this turns into a win instead of you pressuring the map is by getting 4-man slugs. Because again, I'll just keep ranting. I like you're only pressuring 1 survivor at a time, which lets everyone do gens. If you didn't want to pressure just 1 survivor at a time, you can down people. If you down people, then that makes 1 person like say you down this guy. That makes this guy completely unable to do gens. Like, he is pressured. He is on the ground. He can't do gens. That also means that 1 other survivor has to go get the unhook, right? They have to go get the unhook or pick up the down survivor, like whatever. Like, they need to help them for them to get back in the game, right? So like, you could also say that another survivor is pressured because they have to save. And then if you also like find another survivor to chase, then they're being chased, which means they can't do gens. That's 3 people off of gens just from getting 1 hook, right? Like, if you hook somebody and then chase somebody else, that's 3 people off of gens. Like, yeah, there's still 1 guy doing gens, but 1 guy can't get nearly as much done as 3, right? Like, what you're doing instead is you're just chasing this guy, and then you're bailing and chasing this guy, and you're bailing and chasing this guy, which means the whole time the other 3 are always just free to do gens. And they do gens. So just to explain map pressure, that's what map pressure is. If you guys ever hear people talk about map pressure, like pressuring generators is not running to the generator and scaring them off. That is not what pressuring generators is. Pressuring generators is forcing the survivors to get off the generators because they have to, or else their teammates will fucking die. You know, that's what true generator pressure is. And you just didn't really apply any until like, and even like here, like, this is where, again, I really wish you had Infectious Fright instead of fucking nurses, man. If you had Infectious Fright here, you could have maybe seen other people around you. Because, again, I think your win condition at this point, like at this point in time, with all this like lost pressure you've had, your win condition right now is 4-man slug. Like, that's your win condition. 4-man slug, or at least slug a little bit, right? Like, not even necessarily 4-man slug, but like, you need to like take advantage of the fact that everyone's injured. And like, the best way to take advantage of the fact that everyone's injured is just to fucking slug them. You know what I mean? Like if they're gonna stay, if they're gonna stay 1 shot down on purpose, take advantage. You know, take advantage. Again, a gen just popped behind you. I didn't even see this the first time through. A gen just popped behind you too. So like, you know that there's a survivor behind you. So like, you have some knowledge, right? Like, you know there's a survivor here. You know there's a survivor back there. I kind of wish you would have looked around more with barbecue. Did you? Did you look around more with barbecue? Did we see anybody on barbecue? You didn't even really look, which is another big thing that I want to say. I want to say there's a lot of importance that goes into trying your best to remember where survivors are. Like, that's a big part of like advanced killer strategies, is like knowing where survivors are. You know, like right now, if you hook this guy and you can know where all 3 survivors are, that plays huge into your strategy, right? Like, say if like hypothetically speaking, we'll just say pretend you did look that way. and there was a survivor like way on the other corner of the map, right? Like we'll just pretend that's a thing just for the sake of this discussion. You would then know that a survivor is right in that corner because they just finished a gen. You would know a survivor's up here because you hear them working on it and you're about to blink to them, and you would know that there's someone over there. So because of that, it would be really fucking easy for you to win this game literally right now. You would be able to like hit this guy, slug him, come back and get, you could, okay, or you could leave this guy alone. You could either go to this guy or that guy. Either way, you can go to one of these two guys, down them, try to get to the other one before they get the unhook, down them, and then you know that the other guy is coming from that direction, so then you can just kind of look out that way, or even run out that way and try to catch him off on his way, and then bam, 4-man slug, game over, you win. You win that easily. Like knowing where the survivor positions are is huge, you know? Or even that, like you can blink up here and get this guy, and then you can literally know for a fact that this dude that just finished the gen is going to be going for the unhook. And he does. Like, I'm pretty sure that does end up happening. Like, you end up messing up this blink, which is really unfortunate. Because, again, like, this is like crunch time here. Like, this is the time that you need to play well. Like I said, you had bad map pressure before. You have everybody injured. You just got a hook. This is where you got to start getting downs and, like, following up on your hook and get more downs and more downs and more downs and more downs. So, this was, like this was a really important set of blinks, and it kind of really sucks that you messed it up. Because you don't get the down and they get the unhook. Like that dude that dude that was on the, that dude that did that gen just got the unhook right there. I know I kind of rap got it right there, pardon my stutter. Like that dude that did the gen just got the unhook. So like now they're even right here you should have slugged her. Like they just unhooked right over there. There's two injured people are right over there. Like just go fucking down them. Go down both of them. Like go down both of them and then leave them on the ground and then come back for the Nia if you want to. Like you need the map pressure at this point. Like you're in a losing position. You've only gotten 3 hooks all game. These guys are slamming fucking gens. You only have 2 left. Like there's 2 left, and that one that you just chased her off of was also like half done. So there's like 1.5 gens left. You're down 2 perks. Like you need to make something happen here. And even right here, you're just like, I'll pick her up, you know? And again, it might not seem like much picking her up, the hooker, but this is like look, this is like what, 4 or 5 seconds? It's like 5 seconds, 6 seconds, 7 seconds. It's like 6 or 7 seconds that you spend doing that. And that might not sound like much, but 7 seconds is enough for a survivor to run like from here over to like there, you know? Like they get fucking distance in 7 seconds. Like that's a long time if you're just holding W. So even that, like I think that was a bit of a misplay. As well, as far as like, you know, tactically or like strategically or whatever. Even here, I'm glad that you at least like look around for barbecue, even if there's a survivor right in front of you. That's really smart of you to do. I wish you would have did that last time. And this is where again, you kind of mess up blinks, and I mean, it just kind of goes from here. Like, there's really nothing else to say other than you just messing up blinks from here. Like beyond this, you mess up blinks a lot. I think you might have gotten tilted from the fact that the game was going so poorly and like they were getting so many gens done. I think you might have been feeling the pressure and maybe being a little bit tilted. I also realized, are you playing on a controller? Have you been playing on a controller this whole time? Wow, you're on a controller? I'm gonna be honest, you're a fucking really good nurse for a controller. I wonder if that's what kind of causes some of these like spazzy moments. Because I imagine if you're on a controller, you probably have to play with really high sensitivity. I'm really dumb for just now realizing this, by the way. Like right here, like this like really spazziness, I wonder if this just comes from you being on really high sensitivity. Because I thought you were on a mouse, honestly, because like your movement was so fast. I think your sense might be really high, and maybe that's why your movement's so spazzy, which is interesting, because I can't really comment on like how to properly play with a controller on Nurse, because I've never done it. But I will say that as far as strategically, those are really the only mistakes you made. Beyond that, you kind of just like, I mean, I don't want to be a dick, but you kind of just played Nurse badly. Like, honestly, I think you kind of got tilted and you kind of got in your own head. Like, you did get robbed over here with the Ash. Like, dude, this one hurts me. Like, that one hurts my soul, dude. That hurts so bad. Especially since the rest of your game went so poorly. Like, that's like the final nail in the coffin of tilt right there. You're like, okay, I'm gonna not be tilted. I'm gonna not be tilted. I know this game went badly, but I'm gonna not be tilted no matter what. No matter what happens, I'm not gonna be tilted. And then you just fucking break your keyboard. Like, you just smash your keyboard. You punch your monitor. You fucking kick over your fucking computer tower. You know, punch a hole in your wall. Like, that's like, dude, that's rough. That's rough right there. I honestly, that sucks. I feel bad for you there. But honestly, that really is it. Like, that's honestly it. I really wish I had more advice to give this gameplay review. Like, I really wish I had more to say, but there really isn't much else to say. I think, like, as far as you're concerned, you seem like you're a pretty solid nurse. Kind of like you said with the message you left, you said that every other game that you played this night was a 4K, which I believe. Like, you're definitely a solid nurse. And especially like in the early game, it really felt like you were in control, felt like you knew what you were doing, and you really just like staying calm and focused. Like, I would believe you if you said that you 4K like most of your matches. I would definitely believe that. But I think when you get really efficient survivors like this, I mean, this is the real test, right? Like this is the real test to like how good you can be, is when you get really efficient survivors like this. I think you might have let like the tilt get to you, because it felt like when you started fucking up your blinks, it kind of like snowballed, right? Like, it kind of felt like you were in control up until like this shit, right? Like right here, like I feel like you looking down at like this thing was like the beginning of the end. You know what I mean? You like looked down and you were like, fuck you, you random little metal hitch. And then from here on out, it was just like Tilt City, like everything else that happened. That's my prediction anyway. I don't know. Like, that's what I think happened. But yeah, I think definitely tactical mistake of not committing to anybody and not getting any downs. I think getting some downs would definitely would have helped the gen progress a little. Like, they wouldn't have gotten so many gens done if you would have actually gotten some hooks or some downs and got them off the gens. But instead, you committed to everybody, or you didn't commit to everybody. You didn't commit to anybody. Instead, you got everybody injured. And then even after you got everybody injured, you didn't even follow up on that by slugging. And instead, you just kind of like downed and hooked, and then let them like unhook each other and heal. I get if you're trying to like, I don't know if maybe you were just trying to play nice here too. I know this is a big thing that a lot of like killer players do. I shouldn't say a lot, but some killer players will be in a position like this, like this is the spot where you should have slugged. And a lot of people have the mindset where they're like, well, I don't want to slug and like give the survivors a boring game, and like I want to play in a way that's courteous. And I get that, because I do the same thing sometimes myself too. But at the same time, like, if these guys are going to play mega efficient and like slam gens like psychos, then I think you have the right to slug like a psycho too, you know? Fuck them. Fuck them. That's what I say. Fuck them. Slug them like crazy, you know? Get them. And that's really all there is to say. I think I'm just going to keep going in circles if I keep talking about this video. So I think I'm just going to end it there. You did really well though. Like, honestly, like I know this game didn't go well, but I can tell you have a pretty good understanding of nurse. Like, your blink positionings are pretty solid. I can tell you know what you're doing when you're not tilted. I think you just got to work on that strategy a little bit, man. And again, like, Ruin Undying, huge risk. I would maybe recommend trying a different build, one that's a little bit more consistent. Maybe pair up Sloppy Butcher with your Nurse's Calling. That might help you a lot. You could even slap in, like, I don't know, Infectious Fright to help you like get used to slugging more, because I think slugging is going to help you a lot too. I don't think you slugged a single time this video, and slugging is kind of huge. Like, if you're, I would make the argument, and this might be bold, but I would make the argument that if you're going against a really good group of survivors, like a group of survivors that's actually really efficient, I wouldn't even say that slugging is good. I would say slugging is literally necessary to beat them. And that might be a bit of a bold statement, but I'm going to stick with it. I think if you don't ever slug against really good survivors, I think you just lose every single time. Like, I don't think you can win by just downing, hooking, repeating over and over again. And you definitely can't win by like splitting up and just hitting everyone one at a time. Like, I think you kind of need to snowball pressure by slugging. So I think Infectious Fright might get you into the habit of like knowing when to slug more and being able to practice that. I think that's like your next step as far as improving your play towards like really good survivors. But honestly, overall, I really enjoyed this review. It was really fun. You're definitely a pretty solid nurse player, especially for being on controller. Like, for playing with a controller, you're fucking nutty. Controller to nurse is hard. So you're very good for playing with a controller. So touche to that. Honestly, very impressed. Thank you guys for watching this. I hope you guys learned a thing or two. If you guys did enjoy this, please leave it a like. It helps me a lot with the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel as well if you guys would like, because I upload literally daily. Also, stop by my live stream. I'm live on Twitch 6 nights a week over at twitch.tv/OhTofu. So feel free to stop by and say hello. And thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys have an awesome rest of your night. I'm getting out of here. I will see you guys later. I'm out of here. See ya. Take care. See ya. I'm out of here. See ya. See you later. See ya.